It's Thursday, December 23. This is the news on PBCJ. I'm Gabrielle Thompson. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark has signed off on a wage settlement offer he had made in April with 10 trade unions. The move represents another 20% or 20,000 public sector employees who have now accepted the government's temporary offer of a 4% wage increase effective April 1, 2021. The arrangement, which was inked on Wednesday, will also include retroactive payment from April plus a $40,000 one-off payment. The finance minister told the press that the additional unions have now brought the total number of public sector employees who have accepted his temporary offer to approximately 80,000 workers in 31 unions. The country's COVID-19 positivity rate has increased. That confirmation from Minister with responsibility for health and wellness, Dr. Christopher Tufton. At a virtual media brief on Wednesday, he called on Jamaicans to be on their guard against the virus, especially with new evidence of the Omicron variant being in the island.
At least one case of the Omicron variant has been confirmed in a short-term British traveller to the island, and Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says he believes there are other cases here.
It should not be surprising that we have discovered at least one case, and I do believe there are other cases. It is, however, necessary, we believe, to communicate once we have that information.
Turning to the increase in positive COVID-19 tests, Dr. Tufton explains that they are among those carried out by private labs.
We have, and unusually so, recorded a 7% positivity rate from those tests, and these are PCR tests.
He says the tests are mostly done for short-term visitors.
And what we are seeing is that we're picking up quite a lot more positives. So of the 76 positives of that 1,100 that were identified, these 76 represents, as I said earlier, one of the largest reporting of imported cases in the country since the start of the pandemic.
The health minister says that Omicron is becoming the dominant strain in many countries and is expected to become the case here.
So it's highly contagious. And the current vaccines that are expected to protect against severe illness, hospitalization, and death due to the infection with the Omicron variant. So vaccines still remain an important response. The conclusion again here is that there is sufficient indicators to confirm that we have to be particularly careful about the possibility of this highly contagious variant strain of the COVID-19 virus being in the population.
Dr. Tufton says if Jamaicans decide that they will not observe safety protocols, then it poses a risk to them, the society, and to the health system. For the news on PBCJ, I'm Simone Absalom Gill.
Director General of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus, is warning against COVID-19 vaccine booster programs. Speaking at a media brief on Wednesday, the WHO boss cautioned that boosters are not the key to ending the pandemic. We get more from Simone Absalom Gale.
Dr. Ghebreyesus says the priority must be to reduce deaths and ensuring that minimum vaccination target of 40% of populations are met in all countries.
While some countries are now rolling out blanket booster programs, only half of WHO's member states have been able to reach the target of vaccinating 40% of their populations by the end of the year because of distortions in global supply. Enough vaccines were administered globally this year that the 40% target could have been reached in every country by September if those vaccines had been distributed equitably.
Dr. Ghebreyesus says that while vaccines have saved many lives this year, their unequal sharing has cost many lives. He says blanket booster programs will exacerbate vaccine inequity.
About 20% of all vaccine doses administered every day are currently being given as boosters or additional doses. Blanket booster programs are likely to prolong the pandemic rather than ending it by diverting supply to countries that already have high levels of vaccination coverage, giving the virus more opportunity to spread and mutate.
He notes that the vast majority of hospitalizations and deaths are in unvaccinated people, not people who haven't received COVID-19 booster shots. Meanwhile, the WHO boss says work is being done to expand the list of qualified vaccines.
It's also intended to uncover second-generation vaccines with greater protection against variants of concern.
He says the aim is to create vaccines with longer protection duration and ones that can be administered without needles. For the news on PBCJ, I'm Simone Absalom Gale.
Senior citizens are being urged to apply for benefits under the government's social pension program. The $800 million program, which was launched in July this year, provides a guaranteed income for vulnerable persons 75 years and older. The Ministry of Labor and Social Security says seniors targeted are those not currently in receipt of a pension, disability benefit, or other retirement benefit, cash grant from the Program of Advancement through Health and Education PATH or Poor Relief Program, and those who do not reside in a government institutional care facility. In this extended business report, motorists will pay less at the pumps for gasoline, but more for diesel. We take a look at our usual market updates and SOS Limited's announcement of an international partnership to strengthen local contract offerings. Effective Thursday, December 23, motorists should pay less at the pumps for gasoline but more for diesel. 87 and 90 octane gasoline were both down by 25 cents and will be sold for $162 and $167.45 per liter. Automotive diesel fuel saw a price hike of 47 cents and will be sold for $157.45 per liter. Ultra-low sulfur diesel is down by $1.16 and will be sold for $163.05 per liter. Meanwhile, kerosene saw a $3 price drop and will be sold for $134.48 per liter. Propane liquid petroleum is down by $3 and will be sold for $68.29 per liter. Butane liquid petroleum will be sold for $77.78 per liter after a decrease of $3. Be on the lookout for price changes as marketing companies and retailers will add their markup to these prices. In foreign exchange trading for Wednesday, December 22, the US dollar sold for an average $154.74. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $120.27. The pound sterling traded for $206.76, and the euro sold for an average $176.80. In Wednesday's trading session, the JSE Combined Index declined by 516 points to close at under 400,000 units. Overall, market activity resulted from trading in 96 stocks, of which 46 advanced, 34 declined, and 16 traded firm. The Junior Market Index advanced by 11 points to close at over 3,000 units. Stocks advanced for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, CAC 2000 Limited, and Cargo Handlers Limited. Stocks declined for 1834 Investments Limited, Access Financial Services Limited, and Barita Investments Limited. Trading firm were 138 Student Living Jamaica Variable Preference, AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited, and Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited. Mailpack Group Limited was the volume leader with over 900,000 units, followed by Consolidated Bakers Jamaica Limited with over 800,000 units, and Trans Jamaican Highway Limited with over 600,000 units. In market data for oil, prices were broadly stable on Thursday as signs the worst effects of the Omicron coronavirus variant might be fairly containable were countered by new curbs amid surging case numbers. Brent crude futures were up 19 cents or 0.3% to $75.48 a barrel after a 1.8% gain in the previous session. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were up 5 cents or 0.1% at $72.81 a barrel after jumping 2.3% in the previous session. The big gains on Wednesday were partly spurred by a larger than expected drawdown in U.S. crude stockpiles last week. Stationery and Office Supplies SOS Limited is partnering with American office supply provider AIS Incorporation to strengthen its local offerings for quick deliveries on contracts for office furniture. Speaking recently at SOS's annual general meeting, Chairman Stephen Todd said in the past the company has lost contracts based on extended delivery times.
This partnership will enable us to turn over within a quick turnover period of 4 to 6 weeks for any large size contract. It goes actually as low as 3 weeks in some cases. So we see it as a great advantage to partner with them in North America, which will give us a lot of opportunity for contracts that have shorter delivery times, which unfortunately we have not been able to take advantage of in the past because most of our stuff comes from the Far East. This will enable us to get those sales now, hopefully.
This partnership is good news as the company faced significant setbacks due to the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic.
The closure of schools and hotels continued. Work from home orders as well as curfew measures resulted in a decline in our stationery and office furniture sales. In total, our revenue declined by 20% from 2019. While our gross profit declined by 22%. This affected our stock price, which declined from $10.72 to $4.46. This was a direct result in the contraction in the economy, as well as the fall in the GSE index.
The chairman says despite challenges, the company's new lines of office furniture have been well received. He also reported significant demand for SOS Limited's acrylic screens in workspaces in response to public health data around containing the spread of COVID-19. And newly appointed Managing Director Alan McDaniel says despite 2020's challenges, SOS has performed well in 2021.
For the first 9 months of 2021, we have seen improvements in all of the following areas. Revenues are up 14%. Gross profit is up 22%. Expenses are up 8%, but again, not as much as the revenues. SEEK sales are up 12%. Annual interest payments are down 15%. Long-term loans have reduced by 18%. And inventory, as Mr. Todd mentioned, is up 25% as we account for the worldwide shipping issues. And finally, and most importantly, we have our pre-tax profit up 175% so far for the first 9 months.
At the end of September, SOS recorded $96.7 million in debt and cash totaling $63.4 million. The company says it has seen a boost in sales on school items following the government's phased reopening of schools. If you're in the mood for some scrumptious well-done ribs or some good old-fashioned jerk pan chicken, stick around as we revisit, chill and grill on this week's Culinary Trails.
Chill and Grill came about because my family has a farm, and throughout all the years, the meat price of pig was on a steady price despite the cost of feeds and the different inputs going up. So out of doing plain dominoes and doing a little, you just throw on a grill for your friends, that was where Chill and Grill started actually 3 years ago, where we use locally grown meat, because sometimes I don't have enough on my farm, so I have to buy from Copperwood or buy elsewhere. But we use locally grown meats, and then we season. Part of our secret is that chef and I, we season at least 5 days in advance. So it gives the meat time to marinate. And then, as you know, crispy pork, which is one of our specialties, is, oh Lord, how do you describe it apart from divine? But when you're a pork lover, crispy pork is the best way to have pork because it's like pork served with love. That is the La Caja China box. That is the secret to the crispy pork. That is the secret to the crunchy, crackling pork skin that everyone loves. It actually was invented in Cuba, in Chinatown in Cuba, mimicking how they cook pork. You know, like bury it in the ground and put the coal on top. So the pork sits in the bottom and then you slow cook it. So you get this moist, well-cooked pulled pork effect. Awesome, awesome, awesome. In fact, some people call it the magic of the box because it's magical. One week, a customer said, I don't eat pork, can you do salmon? And we did grill salmon. And the gentleman's report, when he left here, he sent a picture. By the time he was at Manningsville Road, it was finished. So we are versatile. So we will cook what you want. But we do have steamed fish. We do have roast fish. And we do have jerk chicken like you have never had it before. Because the box, again, there's magic in the box. Always, we have barbecue pigtail, which is a Jamaican favorite. We have steam and roast fish. We have jerk chicken. We have, chef's specialty is barbecue honey glazed ribs. Now I promise you, come and taste the ribs, it will be like no other. Seasoned with love and cooked and served with passion. We use all natural products, and so it will be natural for us to do natural juices. I have a young man who is a friend of my son who makes natural juices.
Hi, I'm Nigel Brady. I am the founder of Nature's Sip, and what we offer is a myriad of flavors of 100% natural beverages, right? All homegrown produce, and you have the choice of sweetened or unsweetened. Most customers tend to prefer the unsweetened because you actually feel the wellness in it at the first sip. So initially, that's the sip of change that we intend to offer or already offering to the diets of Jamaicans.
So we are a family setting, although we can't have the gathering now because of Corona. But if you want to go someplace where you're comfortable and feel mamas love them, Chill and Grill is the place for you. What we have done because of COVID, everything has been converted to grab and go. So we invested in a warmer where we can keep the food warm, and then we schedule pickups. So if you don't want to come out of your car, you can tell us what time you're coming and we'll meet you at the gate and deliver it. Or if you want it delivered at a small cost, we'll send it to you. If you are having a private gathering and you just want awesome grilled foods, or matter of fact, awesome any foods, you can call us and we will package it and deliver it for you. Because the idea is we grill and you chill. So you just bring the orders to us and we will deliver it to you wherever you are. So you have fun and stay safe in your neck of the woods. We now cook on every last Saturday, but food is ready from 9 in the morning. So we cater to the man who want to go bird bush or want to go beach. Him can come early, pick up him crispy pork and head to the hills. Why Chill and Grill? If you want succulent pork, if you want pork that you will lick your fingers, if you think Kentucky is finger licking, come to Chill and Grill. I promise you, you're gonna get food with love. Food served with love and with passion.
In regional news, the Royal Grenada Police Force is turning to Interpol and other international security agencies to assist with the investigation of the drifting vessel found with 7 bodies aboard. More details in this report.
Could it very well be a case of human trafficking or smuggling? Police are yet to get to the bottom of the origin of a vessel found in Grenadian waters drifting with 7 corpses and what their intended mission possibly was. Commissioner of Police Edwin Martin, addressing the media on Wednesday, said the Royal Grenada Police Force will be seeking the assistance of international security agencies to assist with the investigation into the drifting vessel found earlier this month with the 7 bodies on board, 2 of whom are believed to be teenagers.
To date, from the preliminary digital forensic analysis that has occurred with devices that we retrieved from the vessel, we are led to believe that this incident may have been associated with a human trafficking or human smuggling incident that went horribly wrong. This matter requires international collaboration, and therefore we will be seeking the assistance of the Interpol and other law enforcement agencies to support our investigation into this matter.
Officers assigned to the Northern Division responded to the report of the drifting vessel in the vicinity of Gunpoint, Carriacou on December 13th. The boat, which was retrieved and towed to Havyville by the Grenada Coast Guard, was later transferred to mainland Grenada. The country or countries of origin is still unknown. Recent news reports from the British Virgin Islands highlighted similar occurrences in their islands, such as the Turks and Caicos, Guyana, Trinidad and Tobago, Aruba, and Nicaragua.
From the preliminary findings, it suggests that multiple countries and multiple nationalities are involved in this incident. Juxtaposed against the fact that there were similar findings and sightings elsewhere in the Caribbean and Central America region supports our belief that this incident can be supported or is believed to be associated rather with human trafficking or human smuggling.
The police head promises an update when it becomes available. Chrislina John, GBN News.
In Trinidad and Tobago, a children's COVID-19 quarantine unit was handed over to the Southwest Regional Authority on Tuesday. Tarianne Brown-Campbell of TTT Live reports.
A 10-bed COVID-19 quarantine facility was officially opened by the Minister of Energy and Energy Industries, Stuart Young, on Tuesday. The new unit has been established by Heritage Petroleum Company Limited in Pointer Bay. Minister Young says the unit is a necessity at this time.
This is actually required by the current suite of children's legislation. This is a facility for state supervised children who have come under the arm of the Children's Authority, who now unfortunately are requiring medical care and attention in the fight against COVID.
CEO of the Heroes Foundation, Lawrence Ajun, adds that several corporate sponsors and government ministries worked together to get the facility ready in less than 2 months.
Children continued to be impacted by the pandemic significantly more than adults because there are generally fewer facilities and resources available to them. And the children have less control over their environment, their circumstances, and their opportunities.
Minister Young notes other business entities are not contributing enough in the fight against the virus.
So if you're a $100 million after-tax entity and you're just dishing out a few hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions, yeah, thank you. But there's much more that needs to be done.
The new unit, called A Ray of Hope, has a computer room to allow the children to continue with their online learning while at the facility. The quarantine unit will be run by personnel from the Southwest Regional Health Authority. Tarianne Brown-Campbell, TTT News.
And we're on the ball with sports, leading off with cricket, as West Indies left-hander Nicholas Pooran has jumped 8 places into the top 30 of the International Cricket Council 2020 batting rankings. The 26-year-old posted 108 runs in the just concluded three-match series against Pakistan in Karachi. Pooran now lies 27th in the rankings, topped by the pair of Pakistan's Mohammad Rizwan and England's David Malan, and is one of only 2 West Indies players in the top 30. Fellow Trinidadian and left-hander Evan Lewis sits in the 15th spot after dropping 1 notch. The aggressive opener missed the Pakistan series due to personal reasons. Pooran, who had captained the regional team on the tour after regular skipper Kieron Pollard was ruled out with injury, scored 18 in the opening T20 International, 26 in the second, and 64 off 37 in the final game. Over to football. In Guyana, the Brass Aluminium and Cast Iron Foundry Limited is willing to accept 12 footballers into its trainee programs come 2022. The aspirants will be trained over a 12 to 18-month period. These footballers would have to be selected and screened by the Guyana Football Federation. Akeem Green from the newsroom tells us more.
This disclosure was made by Managing Director of BACIF, Peter Pompey, who indicated the training would be a life skill and would help to develop rounded players.
BACIF is willing to accept in 2022 12 young persons as trainees on programs that can see their development in the area of the various skills we are involved in here. We must not only, we have to look at the development of football and our young people in totality. And it is within that realm, BACIF would like to offer 12 young persons from across the various regions in Ghana the opportunity to come to this organization and over 12 to 18 months be trained in a lifelong skill that can really substantially contribute to their well-being and their future development.
GFF President Wayne Ford welcomed the news and said it would be a vital step in players transitioning after life on the field.
We're prepared to transition from football into a productive life. And to have 12 footballers, I would take it, we will have both males and females participating in 1 year to 18 months training scholarship here at the Brass Aluminum Cast Iron Foundry, learning very important skills that they will be using for the rest of their life in an ever-demanding construction and engineering sector in Guyana is historic in any context.
The program will be for footballers 18 years and older, and while it enhances a player to have CSEC passes, those without would still be accepted. Ford said they will use a similar vetting process they undertook with another partner as they search for players with unblemished records to be part of the program. For the newsroom, Akim Green.
And with that, we close out play for today's news. Join us tomorrow, same time and place, for more news and sports, right here on PBCJ, the People's Station.